All right, we are live. So, welcome, DoorGrow hackers, to the DoorGrow show. If you are a property management entrepreneur that wants to add doors, make a difference, increase revenue, help others, impact lives, and you are interested in growing your business and life, and you're open to doing things a bit differently, then you are a DoorGrow hacker. DoorGrow hackers love the opportunities, daily variety, unique challenges, and freedom that property management brings. Many in real estate think you're crazy for doing it. You think they're crazy for not, because you realize that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management businesses and their owners. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. I'm your host, property management growth expert, Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow. Now, let's get into the show. And today we have a really cool guest. He is Daniel Ramsey over at MyOutDesk. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jason. I'm so glad to be here.
So Daniel and I were talking a little bit in green room, chatting up a little bit about what's going on. It's a little bit crazy right now with COVID-19 and coronavirus and all this stuff. The real estate market looks scary. So we were chatting, so we may get into that a little bit in the show, but our topic today is using a virtual assistant to scale your property management business with MyOutDesk. And before we get into that, Daniel, I want to hear about your background, kind of your entrepreneurial journey, and that should lead us right into the inception of MyOutDesk. So,
yeah, sure, man. I love the show. I'm really grateful to be here. I agree. I'm a real estate guy. I love doing deals, and property management is just such a great way to connect and create community. And also, it's a great place for deal flow if you're a buyer and want long-term wealth. So I love being here. I'm a real estate investor myself, real estate broker, contractor, mortgage guy, developer, broker. I mean, it's just, this is my world. I love it. In fact, you'll love this story. My wife and I, we've got 2 little girls. We'll drive in the neighborhood and I'm like, baby, open house. I got to go look at it. And she's like, fine, just go. And so I'm a real estate guy. I love what I do. And we help property managers basically find talent and inexpensively scale their business. So the topic is timely. And you know what happened? I mean, our business was started because I had a need in my own real estate practice. I hired a virtual assistant. I was like, wow, this works. And then my wife and I went on our honeymoon. And as many entrepreneurs, I brought my laptop on my honeymoon, and I'm in Guatemala in like the rainforest, and I'm at the bar at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and the bartender in Spanish is making fun of me. He's basically saying things like, you know, dumb gringo, his wife's here, beautiful woman, just married. Why is he still working? And you know, at that moment, I knew something had to shift in my world. And that's when we kind of started to scale and really use leverage at a high level.
Right. So, yeah, I would imagine that most of our partners as entrepreneurs go through quite a bit, and they don't always appreciate us doing things like that. So,
yeah. My wife calls it MLS porn for me, because at night I'm like scrolling through all the new, you know, investment properties that came on the market, and I'm really lucky to have married her, and she's, you know, understanding. But, you know, at the same time, I wanted to stay married, right? And I wanted to have kids and a family, and I knew I needed leverage in my business. And I wanted to be able to take a vacation, you know?
Yeah. So I'm sure you have kids at home right now.
That's right.
Yeah, me too. It's quite crazy.
Yeah.
One of them just came in to hand me an Xbox controller so I could give them access, because I control that like crazy. So while I'm on air, like, they don't care. They're like, Dad, this is important. Yeah.
Well, this is the deal. This is what we're in. And it's crazy timing, because we scheduled this call like months ago, and we're in a crazy, you know, place where, you know, in 2018, 5% of America worked remotely. 5%.
Yeah.
Last week, that number went to 50%, like in 1 week. And so,
and the rest are probably not even working.
Yeah. And so here's the thing, like, as a company, one of the things that we've been doing is we've been remote for 13 years, 100%, like, and we're talking about 1,300 people. So if you're listening right now, we figured out how to scale a business remotely with 1,300 people and serve clients like property managers, real estate brokers, investors, flippers. Like, that's what we do, right? And so in the last couple of weeks, we've helped more companies just understand the tools required, what systems you have to put in place, how to communicate with your people when they're not physically in your office. And so we put together a whole like go remote guide that we're going to give away in this show, basically just to help things like what you just said. We were just on a conference call with our largest client, and his 2.5-year-old son just, hey, Daddy, I need more Cheerios. It's just how it is now,
Yeah, that is what it is. I think yeah, and there's all these funny videos you'll see online where you've got like some guy on the news and his like kid walks in like a diaper, and then the wife's like crawling on the floor because she thinks she's not on camera and trying to pull it out, these kind of things. But this is like the world we live in. Like we're fathers, we run companies. There's moms that run companies. And I don't think there's anything that doesn't have to be hidden. It's not like there's something shameful that you have kids or that you have a personal life. And so, for those that are like watching this or listening, like just own that. Like it's totally okay. Everybody likes to see that you're a real person anyway, instead of just a suit and a tie, stuck behind a desk all the time. So it's a lot more relatable, I would imagine. So I've got 4 kids. I'm slightly insane, I think, and it's crazy. And they need to be quieter. Hey guys, be quieter.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. So like you, I started my company, Open Potion, the corporation, back in like 2008.
Yep.
After like right around the time everything was sort of falling apart then, and it's I've just worked from home. I've been virtual. My team members are in Toronto, New York, wherever, and we've got some Philippines, like so. And there's always sort of been this a while ago. There was always this stigma connected to those that were remote, especially if they were not in America.
Yep.
And so I think that we're going to see some crazy shifts that are going to be happening. One, every company that has like, oh, we can't have people working from home. How will we know that they're actually going to do work?
Yeah.
If they're, or, these kind of things, these concerns, well, now you have to, like, if you want them to work, they're working from home, and your office is shut down, you're not doing business. And so everybody's figuring out in this new environment, and they're scrambling, and I'm sure companies like Zoom are just going to go gangbusters, but this is the new world that we live in. And I think it's going to push everything forward technologically, which is exciting.
Yep.
And it's going to cut out a lot of bullshit, like just all the fluff, the stuff that was just bloating companies. It's just eating up resources. Like people are just going to realize after this, like, why do we need this 20 grand a month office space for this big corporate building? Or why do we need, so all these things are going to be shifting, and we're going to have this new culture as a result of everybody being forced to stay indoors and work from home. Yeah. And I think that's going to open people up to the idea that, hey, I can have team members and they don't have to be right geographically near me, and I can find the best that are anywhere and find people that are lower costs and figure this out. And so people are going to be a lot more open that have been closed to it before. So I imagine this will be really good for companies like yours to be able to help people out and help people see that you can still maintain a really good team and quality interaction and customer service, and you can lower your operational costs, or at least make a more healthy cash flowing business by reducing some of these overhead expenses that you have in the company.
Yeah.
And I was hanging out on a really great course with a training over the last 3 days with a financial coach. And one of the phrases, I don't know who said it, but he made this joking comment that overhead walks on two legs. And basically saying, like people or staff are the biggest piece of overhead a lot of times that we might have in a company.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to point out, because that was a really humble intro you sort of gave, but in the written intro I have here, like you've got 10 years of experience serving more than 5,000 clients, including over half of the RealTrends top 10 real estate teams.
Right.
And so your company is already like got a who's list of clientele as far as real estate businesses go.
Yep.
You've built real estate's #1 staffing company, and it says you've worked with some of the top clients in the industry, from sales organizations like the Mark Spain team to tech providers like the Zillow Group, Keller Williams, and Remax. And so you sound like you're a pretty cool, connected guy as well, right?
It's funny. I don't know about cool and maybe connected. I don't know about cool though. Look, what we do, and I love this. We have a property manager who's in Austin, and I really love this guy. Okay, cool. So you guys are neighbors. And he manages $500 million of commercial real estate. And, he's like one of these guys that's just freaking brilliant, Yeah. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm sitting in my son, I'm looking at deals, and he's like that guy that sits, he's like, he's middle-aged and he's really had a lot of success. But he called us because, he had 4 property managers, a bookkeeper, and like kind of an office manager running so 5 people running $500 million, of real estate. And he's like, hey, my people are overworked. I'm worried that nobody's taking vacations. Everybody works on Saturdays and Sundays, and our systems aren't tight, right?
Yeah, burnout is coming.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and they had a system that didn't have all the information in it. So they had like basic terms, but every lease is different, right? Some tenants are paying for maintaining the HVAC. Some are not, and so he had all of these leases that nobody had actually put into the system. So every time somebody called and said my roof is leaking, he'd be like, okay, we'll call you back, and then they'd have to dig up the lease and read the lease and say, who do we call? Is it our responsibility or is it their responsibility? And 5 hours later, they're responding to what could be a really big deal, like damage everywhere for the tenants, right? So we started working with them about 2 years ago, and we started helping them with SOPs, standard operating procedures. So we started helping them take their leases, get them into the system, which is kind of any basic, scale a business, grow a business kind of scenario. We gave him a book, like an APAR person. So now his really talented bookkeeper who's managed his whole financial world for his entire career has time in her day to think strategically, and save money for the company. And so what we did is all the property managers got an assistant. We basically gave them somebody to run their system so that there was a person who could enter data and just make sure the system was clean. The bookkeeper got an assistant, and now all of a sudden he's poised for what is some phenomenal growth years that he's had in the last couple of years. And it didn't change his world. It really didn't, because we're $21,000 a year for a full-time employee. So if you think about that, $500 million, making, all the rents, I mean, literally for almost $100,000, now he's not going to lose his team. And so we were, that's kind of our story. That's what we do for really big companies like Zillow, and all the way down to, small investors who own 5 or 10, properties and just need somebody to kind of help the day-to-day kind of keep things running.
So let's get into how this process sort of works. Let's take a typical, listener of the show. They're probably maybe a property manager, entrepreneur running, maybe they've got about 200 to 400 doors that they're managing, largely single family residential. They might have a property manager by now or two. They've got maybe somebody handling maintenance coordination, and everybody on their team is telling them that they're maxed out on time. Like they're because that's what always happens, right? Every team member like is maxed out on time, and they feel like, I can't afford to hire anybody right now. Everybody's claiming they're maxed on time. And then they call you up. So let's kind of go through the process here of what it would look like maybe for one of these clients to start a conversation and work with you.
Sure, Jason. And I don't want this to be a commercial for us. What I want to do is, if you're listening right now, like what the steps that I'm going to go through are the steps to determine how to scale your business, right? So even though these are our steps, you can actually write these things down and go through the step-by-step process. Whether you hire us or not, this is the process that we know works because we've done it 5,000 times. The first step is just really assess your business. And so we do a strategy call with all of our clients where we do a one-on-one video conference, just like you and I are right now on video. And we go through things like, who's on your team? What are your systems? And when I say systems, like, where are you putting all the information? Do you have a VoIP phone system so that when people call, you can transfer or move that number around? A lot of property managers do, but some actually don't. And you can imagine during this coronavirus, what happens if you're a property manager and you had regular phones tied to an office that you can't go to anymore, right? What do you do? So we're looking at who's on your team. We're looking at what your systems are, like what tech do you have right now to operate? And then we're looking at what your processes are. So talk to me about what happens when you have to turn a tenant over. Talk to me about what happens when you put a property out to lease. What's the step-by-step process? Who owns that process, right? And so we'll go through, those three things in our first strategy call and really identify what's your highest value leverage. And we have this process, and I love thinking like this, right? Leverage can be just like compound interest. You can have compound leverage, meaning you as the business owner or your managers or the people on your staff can offload some of the not very valuable process-based day-to-day repetitive stuff that you just don't need to do. And then you get 2 or 4 hours back of your day. And then you can take those hours and build and help build your business, right? And then you get a compounding effect with leverage. And that's the next step is like, what do we need to do to start taking advantage of compound leverage? Like, if you or your team gave up some stuff, how would you then drive revenue for your business or increase your value for your customers? What would you do to really scale and grow if you got half your day back?
Yeah. Okay. So you do the strategy call, you're figuring out teams, systems, and tech. You're going over their processes. You're identifying the highest value leverage. I think it's the cool idea of, compound leverage, right? And then what would you do next? What would you recommend next?
Well, it's developing a plan. Every single, from that guy that owns $500 million in property to the person who's got 100 homes, every single person has opportunity, right? So it's standard blocking and tackling in business. We're doing a needs analysis for you. We're saying, okay, what do you need to do now, or who do you need to hire on your team now? So it's always been develop the plan moving forward. So any company like ours who says, oh, we'll just hire somebody for you tomorrow, and be scared, right? Just be scared, because as an entrepreneur, leverage is your biggest kind of swing. It's where you can get the most value for your dollars. So you really have to be strategic about it. And so step 2 is, what's my plan? What systems do I need in order to do this virtual thing? Like what we're talking about, going remote, who do I need? What do I need? What conversations need to happen for my internal team what planning do I need to make? Let's create an outcome statement. So you could call step 3 crafting an outcome. So another thing that's unique about our business is we don't do job descriptions, areas of responsibility. And I don't say anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we do is we create outcomes. So I'm going to, for instance, when I hire somebody, I'm hiring them to grow my revenue. I'm hiring them to save money. I'm hiring them, to own an entire process for my business, right? And so we will help you craft and create a plan that really adds value to your business so that you're getting a 3 or 4 times return on the $21,000 that you're going to pay us.
Got it. Okay, so you're crafting an outcome. So you've got this, you've developed the plan, you've done the strategy call, you've developed the plan, you've crafted this outcome, and then what's sort of the next step?
Sure. Well, and at that point, we know exactly what you want to accomplish. And so as a company, what we'll do is we'll take that kind of outcome and we'll craft a series of interviews with somebody who has experienced doing that thing. One challenge that we have in the outsourcing virtual assistant world is you can go on Upwork and hire somebody from India for $3 an hour, right? And that's what most people think about when they think outcomes or outsourcing or, virtual assistants. The thing is, we're a virtual professional company. So we very strategically, we hire people who've done it before, who've been there before, who have served that outcome in the past. If you need somebody to answer the phones and be a prospector for you or handle client calls or tenant calls, we're going to find somebody who they've been 10 years doing that. They've maybe not property management, but they've been 10 years on the phone, handling concerns and being a support mechanism for a business similar or very like yours. And so the next step is to get, 3 to 5 people right in front of you so you can interview them and you can choose somebody who is a great culture fit plus an expertise and experience fit.
Yeah, I love the idea because I think cultural fit is the most important piece to look at first.
Yeah.
And if a lot of people are like, well, they're great for this job. They look great on paper. They know how to do this job. But if it's not a good cultural fit, and I find as an entrepreneur, if you don't feel comfortable around them, and there's a great book by a really cool guy called Steve Sims called Blue Fishing. And he talks about it in it. He calls it the Chug Test. He's like, would I want to go chug a beer with this person? If the answer is no, then there's a disconnect, there's a problem. And he uses the Chug Test with clients and different things. But I think on our team, it's really important that everybody on our team exists to lower our pressure and noise.
Yeah.
They exist to help move the business forward towards our outcomes. And if there's resistance there or discomfort there, and you're adding more and more team members like that, you're building a business you don't even feel like being involved in. And so it's very important, I think, for us as entrepreneurs to be really conscious of how we feel around our team members.
I can tell you've hired people before and you have a team. If you're listening right now, it's interesting because I think this is a mistake that we make as entrepreneurs. We either hire people that we really like, or we hire people who know the job and have expertise or experience doing the job. And the reality is you need both. You've got to enjoy them or at least feel like there's a fit in who you are and what you think, but they also have to be an expert at what they do or a professional in our world. And so I can always tell when I'm talking to somebody who's, understands growing and scaling a business because, they say what you just said, Jason. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll add, I think one of the biggest mistakes I've seen entrepreneurs make in trying to grow or scale their business or hire in their team is that the biggest mistake we make is that we try to hire somebody like ourselves.
Yeah.
A lot of times, because we have a natural rapport for people that are like us. Like in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, they teach if you mirror or communicate at the same pace or these sort of things, then you can build artificial rapport or build real rapport perhaps. really quickly. But the challenge is we also tend to have a blind spot and hire people that are like us. And a lot of times the people that are going to we need to do a certain job are not the entrepreneurial, visionary, cowboy type of personality type, or whatever personality type you are as an entrepreneur. You might need a different personality type for that role. And sometimes we're trying to get people like us, which we don't even want to do those things. And we're trying to put them into that role. And we need to find people that love and enjoy doing that particular thing, like that we don't want to do.
Right.
And then, so that means somewhat they need to be different from us, but we need to be able to have a relationship with them that feels comfortable and feels good, and that we value, like we enjoy being around them or having them on our team.
Yeah, some things I'm going to add because, I'm a nerd. I love people. I love growing and scaling. I think there's another possibility, which is like a values match. If you're very clear about what your values are as a human and a business, then you can be with somebody who maybe doesn't match up with your personality, because you feel like you at least have that commonality in value. One of our values,
trust them.
Yeah, exactly. One of our values as a family is we take care of our people, right? I teach my kids, we don't give up. So I naturally gravitate to people who care about people and who have a bit of grit, right? And so defining who you are as a person and defining who you are as a company and having those values can help you in selecting somebody who you may not like love hanging out with, but there's a values match and they have an expertise match. And so things just jive as a company.
Yeah, I find that's one of the biggest flaws that I see in businesses, in property management businesses, probably any business, is as entrepreneurs go from the stage of solopreneur to building a team, they build a team around them but they're operating like a solopreneur. They're trying to micromanage them. They're viewing these people as people that are supposed to, be extensions of them in some way. And instead of building a team around them of people that are taking things off of their plate and their jobs to lower their pressure and noise, they're hiring people for jobs, people for roles they think the business needs instead of what they need. And in order to hire a team and build a team around you that is what you need as an entrepreneur, there needs to be clear values. Those need to be defined. That's one of the foundational things we coach clients through, is getting clear on their business why, the entrepreneur's personal why, how those connect, figuring out their core values. Because if they don't have it, they don't have culture. Culture comes from the entrepreneur, and the business is supposed to exist to serve the entrepreneur's needs in some way. And it's also supposed to exist to solve a problem in the marketplace. And if they don't have all of this, then if they have those things in alignment, I'll say it significantly affects their ability to close deals and create trust. That speeds up rapidly. And if they don't have that, then not only are they having challenges with that, but they also have a team around them that they have to micromanage, that they always feel like they have to tell what to do, and that are not believers in them or in the business because they've never given them anything to believe in.
Right.
And having a team of believers feels great. It makes me, you feel like you're Iron Man. You feel like you've got the super suit. You've got all these people supporting you. Like we had an issue this morning. There was a client that had a product or something, and they were frustrated or upset because they didn't do any of the work and they didn't get the results, obviously, but they didn't do some things that were needed to be done. They didn't show up to any calls. They didn't do anything. But we want this client to get a result. Well, one of my team members is brilliant at coaching and helping clients through like just fielding negative energy and transforming it. Like he's just a brilliant coach in that. And he talked to this client for like 60 minutes, and the client was like, okay, I'm excited to work with you guys, and I'm not going to sue you now. Right. Yeah. So like, I think and my approach probably would have been like a little bit more hard line and hard nose, like, hey, so I think that, and then I've got another team member and he deals with the clients directly and he's super diplomatic. And I'd be like, just do it this way. But he's like, why don't we say it like this? And I'm like, that's better. So, I mean, our team members protect us. They protect the business, especially if they believe in you. You always feel like you're being supported, and God, it is so stressful to watch. It's worse having a team than being a solopreneur. If you have a team that isn't there to believe in you and support you and lower your pressure and noise, it's worse.
Yep. Agreed. Then you want to talk about the next step?
Let's do it. So we've got crafting. You've got this outcome crafted, and I'll just touch. I love that idea because really, ultimately, what matters is results, right? The outcome is what matters. And a lot of people will hire just to fill a role. They're like, we need this, and they think that's the outcome. We solved it. We've got this person. The real outcome is them helping the business achieve the goal, achieve the outcome that's involved in. So I like the idea of crafting outcomes. So what's next?
Well, you know what? I have to follow it up with the outcome. I want clarity for your audience around why we do that. It's really important. When you have a person coming into it and you give them a job, they could do a job and not get a result. So
absolutely.
And that's the challenge, is like when you craft an outcome and there's massive clarity between you and the employee about what the outcome is, the how to do the job is well informed. It's like, look, we are going to need you to book X, Y, and Z so that the clients have this result. And they're like, well, I booked it. Well, yeah, you booked it, but the client did get this result. So this is a challenge, and so outcomes just align interests of the entrepreneur business owner and the employee so that the coaching conversations and the interactions are super, super clean. Like, hey, now there is some responsibility on the entrepreneur, because I can't say, hey, look, I want to fly to Pluto one day and I'm going to hire you to help me do that, because that's just not a possibility right now. And we have a lot of clients who are like, I don't know how to do that, and I need to hire somebody, and Daniel, can your virtual professionals help me? And I'm like, absolutely not. We can't help you because you don't even know how to do it. So how would we know if you don't know? So the military has this great concept: you can't give one unless you have one. So they don't promote from outside, so that you're not going to get a 2-star general who used to work at Coca-Cola, and they're just going to make him a general. They have a process of rising through the ranks, because that experience is so important. So when our clients say, hey, I want to try this thing out, we're like, hey, we can't help you, because we're not a try it out company. We're a professional organization that helps entrepreneurs get time freedom in their life and high caliber leverage. But we're not going to experiment something with you. We're not going to try to create the ship that's going to go to Pluto. We just don't know how to do that,
Yeah.
So that's some clarity on the outcome. Our next step after an outcome, we start interviewing, and then it just moves into the launch, which is why we have the Go Remote gift for your audience, which is really timely, because everything that 50% of the world is now working at home. How do you do that? What are some of the technologies? How do I communicate? I'll give you a great, you're gonna love this one. Most people, like you and I, we've been working remote for a while, but most people would be like on a chat platform, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. Nobody wants to see that, but we're all human. So what do you say? In our Go Remote guide that we're going to give out, we have, you type bio, right? Bio, BIO, and then .be right back. And then it's just a little bit better to see that on a chat platform in your corporate office, with maybe 100 people, but we've got a lot of tips and tricks and what's the right etiquette and all of that. But after you interview, it's just about a launch, and that's probably where all the magic happens, the first 90 days.
Yeah, I just saw on Facebook that it went viral that all these people are working from home now, right?
Yep.
And people and like doing Zoom meetings and stuff, and some lady forgot in her team of like 20 or 30 people on a Zoom call, forgot that her camera and mic were still active while she was going to the bathroom. She decided to just go to the bathroom and take things with her. Yeah. So how awkward would that be? So, right, they need to understand some basic etiquette when it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
to dealing with this new technology.
Sure, sure. And the fun thing about it is, we're all human. We all have kids, we all go to the bathroom, we all need a lunch break, and
Yeah.
and the rules are different now that working at home. I mean, if you find yourself as a manager or an employee, you have to hyper communicate now because nobody can see if you're actually working. And if you find yourself as a leader, you have to give people the benefit of the doubt and really
Hmm.
communicate, communicate, communicate. This is a time unprecedented in the history. I mean, nobody could plan for needing to go take your entire team remote in the matter
Yeah.
of 7 days. That just can't be planned for. And so having a little bit of grace as a leader and also increasing your communication for your employees as a leader is really super important right now.
Yeah, and I think one of my coaches, Alex Sharfin, he gave me the idea, like, as leaders, we want, like, the best way is to have, like, push, communication rather than pull, in which, as a leader, you don't have to go to all of them and, like, stand over their shoulder and ask them, like, hey, did you do this? Are you doing this? Where's this at? That's pull communication. You're always trying to get things from them. That you set up systems in which the system, like, they're reporting and they're submitting things and providing the information to you, so you feel comfortable and you don't feel the need to micromanage them that way.
Well, and that's a great point because part of our onboarding is helping people people understand what a start of day report looks like and an end of day report looks like. So each of our folks, 1,300-ish, 1,300 people, are doing a start of day report where they're like, hey, these are the 7 things I'm going to accomplish today. And an end of day report, hey, those 7 things, I knocked out 5 of the 7 and I did 3 others. And these 2 are pushed to the next day. So again, if you've got those kind of communication systems well oiled, one of the things, because we've been virtual for so long, we have a tech platform where all of our virtual professionals enter their time. So they start their day and they do a start of day report in our system. And then at the end of the day, they report in our system, and it keeps tabs and track of our virtual professionals so that we have a system of knowing, hey, they took a break, so they enter it into the system. I'm taking my lunch break, or hey, I'm taking my 15-minute hour, a 15-minute break. And so we have a system that reports to our clients everything that they do throughout the day, and our clients can log into that portal and just see it. And so we've been doing that because that's normal, but now everybody's like, hey, how do I do that? That's another example. Right. is just have a start and an end of day report, so your managers or your people have a clear way of communicating what their day looks like.
Yeah, and I once asked that same coach I mentioned. I once asked me, how do you know if somebody on your team's a believer, or how do you know it? Like, and he says they're getting their work done. Like, you've got the outcomes and the things they're supposed to be doing, and they're reporting that they're getting these things done. Like, if performance is there, and you're getting the results that you want, then yeah, you don't have to micromanage them. You don't have to live in fear. Like, they're getting things done.
Yeah,
and that's ultimately what you want. You want to pay money, and you want them to help you make more of it, right? And you want them to get it done. So yeah. So, okay, so you've strategy call, develop a plan, crafting an outcome, interviewing, and then you said launch.
Yep, launch. Yeah, in that period, go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, and the launch is then, you've got these systems in place. For your clients, they can log in, they can see what the work, like, team members are doing. Now, are these, clarifying question, there's 2 types I've noticed of, like, assistant companies or outsourcing companies. There's the type where they're like, hey, we'll answer your phones, and we've got 50, 100 people here in a call center, and some random one's going to answer the call. Or you've got, Raymond, who's assigned to your phone, and he's going to do this, or he's going to do this job for you. So maybe you could help the listeners understand what the MyOutDesk and what this relationship sort of looks like between them. Sure. And
yeah, it makes sense. So the first example is for major corporations. Our business is designed for SMBs, small and medium-sized businesses. So We think of us like an extension of your business. So you get to interview them, you get to onboard them. They report every day into you. So it's like, hey, Jason, I'm here. Daniel's here. I'm ready to log in. I'm going to rock it. Do you need anything today? Here's my start of day report. And every single day they log in, and we typically do Monday through Friday. Some of our clients will have, multiple schedules depending on coverage needs, like over the weekend or late night calls or emergency phone numbers. But, just think of us like an extension of your business. We're giving you leverage. We're a real estate staffing company that is specific to property managers, brokers, investors, mortgage companies. And our whole world is around helping you grow and scale. So after the launch, it goes through training. Most entrepreneurs who've ever hired somebody realizes that in the beginning, I like this X. If you're watching us on video right now, I'm doing an X. But in the beginning, it's low value because they're brand new to your business and they don't know your culture. They don't know your customers. They don't know your value proposition. There's just not a lot of value in the first 2 weeks, right? But at some point, the value goes up. And the amount of time that you have to spend with somebody, it's high in the beginning because you need to tell them everything that's in your brain. You've got all this tribal knowledge that you need to impart and give to them, right? And you might already have it documented, you might not. So the first 90 days really is teaching them how you want them to serve the business and really communicating and getting around like, hey, here's how to use our system. Here's the training platform. Here's all the team members. Here's all the systems that you need to learn. And in the first 90 days, it's just like getting them up to speed. After that, typically our clients are reporting, like a 60, 70% savings with the exact same result they were getting prior. And, it's pretty awesome, actually.
So now, are these team members, is this are they hourly, or is this like you're dedicating monthly and they're full time?
Yeah.
Or how does this tend to work?
Well, there's a couple things. We're different. Obviously, they're virtual professionals, so they're working full time. We're a subscription-based business, so you pay us, we pay them, and we also carry their healthcare, their vacation time, all of their benefits. And most companies that sit where we do, they're making a very razor thin margin. Honestly, 90% of what you guys pay us, what our clients pay us, actually goes to benefits for their virtual professionals. Benefits, vacation, health time, we do conferences. We have an entire support system and team and tech and all that kind of craziness. But the point is, there are people that we're helping you get up to speed so they can help you grow and scale your business. And at some point, we all become a team, meaning the company is here to support the virtual assistant, support the client, and everybody wins. And that's what I love about working here, and why I love my job is I get to help people find jobs in the Philippines. That's where we operate. And then I get to help businesses scale and grow. It's like the coolest place to be, especially because we've helped over 5,000 clients. So I've gotten to see, growth plans, org charts, the systems. It's just so exciting every day to see so many small and medium-sized businesses and really see under the hood, like what's your profitability, who's on your team, what are some of your struggles. It's just really awesome for me and my team because every day we're just serving our community.
Love it. So what are some of the frequently asked questions that people have that maybe we haven't covered that somebody might be asking you during the sales process?
A lot of people are like, well, what's my commitment look like? How long do I have to stay in contract? One of the things, I'm a real estate guy and very firmly believe in value, right? So we don't lock our people into any long-term contracts. Every 2 weeks, every single one of my clients is voting with their credit card. Honestly, imagine if your business 100% ran on adding value to others like that. And that's how our business works. One of our missions, one of the missions that we kind of embrace at a really high level is our virtual assistants or virtual professionals need to be indispensable to your business. That's the guiding light, has been from the beginning. If they come in and they take things off of your plate and you have all this time freedom and all this opportunity to kind of craft and grow your business, then we've just created an indispensability that is irreplaceable. And that's our whole mission as a company. And, we're really excited.
Very cool. Okay, so can we talk about pricing? Like what's it going to cost on typically? I know the people listening, that's the big question, right? They're like, can I afford this? Would this make sense for me? Most of them are thinking, I can barely afford the team I have now. Like, is this something I can do to get to that next level? Maybe this will help me bridge that gap. One of the big, like, for example, in property management, what I call the first sand trap is the property manager that's maybe broken about 50 doors. They've broken that barrier. They're between 50 to 100 doors. They can't break the 100-door barrier. They're operating as a solopreneur. They can't afford to hire their first team member. Their pricing is too low. They've taken on too many crappy properties to manage. They've got a lot of leaks, and they're trying to figure out, how do I get ahead? They can change some of these other things, but one of the things is I need another person. Yeah. So maybe you can touch on that and just give people kind of an idea of what they should budget for to make this work.
It's good. One thing, step like 1 through 5 is 100% free. So if you're listening right now and you're like, I need support or I need help, I just want you to jump on our website, myoutdesk.com, and just go and schedule a consultation and go through the process. Worst case scenario, we walk away as buds. We high five each other and say congratulations, and we walk away. Best case scenario, we find a way to make it a win-win, where you're getting time, freedom back into your world, and you're able to focus on growing and scaling your business. If you decide to move forward with us, I always like to say, look, it's $400 a week. It's 400 and some change. I mean, it's not a super expensive value proposition in our world. It's $17.47 a month, all in, benefits, vacation time. I mean, like an entire team supporting you. All of the systems and processes that we've developed over the years will help you with. Like this Go Remote guide that we're going to give out, it's 12 pages and 5,000 clients later's worth of really good, this is how you run a remote team guide. So we're going to give everything away for free because that's what we do, and including our time and energy and effort. I mean, right now, we were just on the news last week, and we basically gave out consultations to help business leaders and C-suite people and entrepreneurs figure out how to go remote, because there's this bottleneck in California. Everybody got shelter in place. California went down and people were scrambling. We helped our insurance broker. We helped our attorneys. I mean, we were just helping people figure this out and give them some confidence in this. So if you're listening right now and you think this might be an avenue, I would just encourage you to reach out, because it costs you nothing but your time and you'll walk away with a lot of value.
The other major issue right now is the cash crunch. Every business is feeling a cash crunch. The space between, and cash is just shortened, and people are laying people off. Companies are furloughing people, so they can start collecting their team members can collect unemployment insurance. It's kind of why it exists. But this is a painful time period, and they're having to figure out how do we cut expenses. Some businesses will not be the same after this, and so this might be another option if they're having to lay off staff and they're not able to keep cash flow positive. The big challenge then is, how do we keep some sort of level of service? How do we still deliver to our clients if we cannot afford that overhead anymore, and we need to lower the overhead? So it may be, for those listening, that's what you need to deal with right now, is the cash crunch, and solve that problem. And if you can be healthy there, then you can get on to some higher level problems to deal with, like how do we keep revenue going and whatnot. But you've got to solve the immediate cash crunch issue. That might be an SBA loan. That might be, some of these things that are coming out. But and maybe having a conversation with your team might help facilitate that.
Well, we have a good friend of mine who owns a recruiting firm. She has one of her top people, like one of her right-hand women, right? has a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they're all at home. And she needs support now, not tomorrow, because she's contractually obligated to add value to her clients. And if she doesn't, they have the opportunity to walk away and cancel. So we're seeing a big uptick in people who are like, hey, we're having staffing issues right now. I'm not sure, we need support in X, Y, and Z. And, we're happy to go through that process with somebody and say, hey, we can help you here, or no, this isn't what we specialize in, but these people are your best options. There's a lot of companies like ours. There's a lot of resources out there. We're, the SBA thing, that's one of our free gifts in the Go Remote right now. When we give that away, we have a guide to getting the SBA disaster loan in there. We have a guide for what's happening for the taxes right now. We have a guide for what do you say to clients right now in this weird, uncertain time. Like, you can't say you want to buy or sell. I mean, this is a bad time to be a salesperson, right? But it's a great time to have conversations and ask questions and connect with people on a human to human basis. And so we put together a little guide for people in that space. We should give it away. What do you think, Jason?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
How do they get it?
Well, all you have to do is text MOD, so MyOutDesk, MOD to 31996, and anybody that wants it can go there. You'll get a link to our Go Remote stuff. All those free guides are down there. Here's the other thing. Normally, you understand marketing, we gate our content. Normally, we have people register and do a bunch of stuff so that we know who they are. But because of this disaster and because of everything that's happening in the world, that when you text MOD to 31996, we're giving that stuff in a Word format, meaning you can take the Go Remote guide, put your logo on it, and give it away to your customers and clients. You can put your logo on our disaster recovery plan. You can put your logo on our we have a CEO mindset conversation. It's time to adapt your value proposition for your customers, because we're in a new world right now. So all of that stuff is given away free because, we're all in this together. And the biggest cure for our economy right now is businesses and entrepreneurs staying productive.
All right. I'm texting it right now so I can check it out. 31996. And I just do MOD.
That's right. And I can't wait to see Jason come across my phone. It's going to be awesome. And here's the thing that I do. One thing that when we were on TV, there we go. Boom, MyOutDesk is your partner in going remote. That's exactly it, brother. Right there. Here's the thing. We were on TV, and I think it's an important message, and I think we can wrap it up with your audience with this one thing. As entrepreneurs, as business leaders, it is our job to stay productive. It's like our civic duty right now. Our economy is going to be, challenged. The people at the bottom who have the normal middle class jobs, they're going to go through pain. And as a leader in my community, my job is to help everybody I can stay as productive as possible, because that's what's going to shift. That's what's going to change this world. And that's why we put together the guide. That's why we're giving it out free. And I hope it's valuable to you guys, your audience, and Jason, even you guys.
Awesome. I want to agree. So I just did a training just last week on this being, how property management and property managers are going to be even more critical during this time than ever before. And this is an opportunity for property managers to plant seeds for the future. And I taught a concept called care ROI. Right now is maybe not time to focus on financial ROI, but care ROI will lead to that in the future as things shift and turn. People will remember, and because emotion's heightened right now, anything that we do, any action we take, any communication that we do as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, will be magnified times 10 in the mind of our customer and our consumer, because emotion is what creates memory. It's the difference between what were you doing the day before 9/11 or the day on 9/11. Like, people's memories are very different because the emotion is attached. So right now you have the opportunity to get a 10x ROI on positive things that you do out to your customer and to your audience and your potential clients. And that is massive. And so everyone listening, make sure you check out the training that I did and leverage that care ROI. And I want to thank you for coming on and doing this, even though it's crazy right now. And that, you know, and I honor you for putting out this awesome guide to help people out. That's awesome. And I look forward to having some more conversations with you in the future, Daniel.
Yeah, Jason, thanks for your time, man. And really appreciate you today.
And I'll say one more thing, like everybody, businesses exist to solve a problem. That's why businesses exist. If a business is not solving a problem, it's a snake oil salesman. It's taking people's money and not delivering a result. And there's no higher purpose or cause than that entrepreneurs can do right now than to solve people's problems and to also make money. Like making money helps you help the economy, it helps everybody, it helps you help your team find ways to help people solve their problems and to make money. And I don't think there's anything wrong. Some people try to guilt and shame right now. They're the people that are just taking from the system. Don't worry about them. And the other thing I'll point out is if you're an entrepreneur that you don't like your business, you've been looking for your out, you're a entrepreneur, you're just not, this is your perfect out. This is the perfect opportunity to choose out of your business and just not do it anymore. You have the perfect excuse. But for the rest of us that are driven, that we're passionate about what we do, if you are a property management entrepreneur and you're still wanting to grow and still wanting to be part of the community, check us out at DoorGrowClub.com. Get inside our Facebook group community there. And there's lots of helpful things going around. Property managers trying to solve problems for each other and figure out what to do with things. And make sure to have a conversation with us at DoorGrow. Our goal right now is to plant those care seeds ROI as well and help you out in any way that we can. So check us out at DoorGrow.com. And Daniel, thanks again for coming and hanging out.
It's been my pleasure.
All right, we'll let you go. All right, so everyone check out his website. It is MyOutDesk.com. And make sure to do the text message thing. And until next time, everybody, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone.